going. So what was the worst abomination that Satan did after the flood? The Tower of Babel. And how did God destroy it? Through language frequency. He changed their ability to communicate. And right now, Satan is working so hard to bring us all back together under that frequency, controlling us. And it does, because the pineal gland is a workable gland. It sits right here in our foreheads. It has a transponder and a receiver. It's just like a quartz radio, transistor radio. So where we take our phones like this, and we have a tower, and it calls that phone, our bodies biologically have its own frequency. So we have our own number, or I call it our own song. So when you dial up my number, you don't get anybody else but me. If I dial up my frequency, I don't get anybody else but me. And once they get us into digital IDs and get us away, then they're going to get away from this, because this is going to all go within us biologically, because we are separate, just like our bones. They're biologically able to connect to us. That's why we can send things through particle beams and things that and hit our brains at a distance, and somebody can be talking to you in your head. These things are real sciences, proven now, not conspiracy. So when you can do that and you can connect somebody's brain up to Neuralink, to Starlink, and make yourself 6 times smarter than you and I are. I mean, literally, if you went to an interview and you had to sit there with Alexa, how many things could they ask you questions that you might beat Alexa before she can tell the answer that's probably true? We can't compete with it. We cannot compete with it, and they know that. And so it's either going to be you go along with the plan and you take this mark, or you cannot buy, sell, or trade. You can go right over here and have your head cut off. John, most people, we've already seen the pandemic. They will not look at the science. They won't even listen to what I'm telling them. And that's why I'm saying, people, if you don't do anything, that you don't learn anything from tonight, sound, light, and frequency, we're all made out of it. When you cut your head off, you step out of your body, you are still you. But the moment that you cut that frequency and you become connected to their process, that is connecting, cutting from your creator God. And when you cut that frequency from him, that's why scripture says, you take the mark, you're done. I never knew you. Because you're no longer vibrating at the frequency he created us to be harmonically. It's like you've got Schumann resonance for the earth. We're all vibrating the way that the sun sends in the electromagnetic waves that comes off of it. It all works in perfect harmony. But Satan wants to break that harmony, and that's why we're seeing that happening so bad. That's why we're sick. Our frequencies are off. If we knew the frequency that King David used to play his harp to heal Saul, King Saul, we'd all be well. There is a frequency that makes everything perfect, and Satan knows that. And that's why our music has been changed, that they changed the way we listen to music, at the level that we listen to music. Again, going back, look at what happens when you take a cell phone and you put it in a beehive. The bees are listening to the frequency of the queen bee. And when you interrupt it with a cell phone, the bees go nuts. And it causes the hive to die. Well, guess what? Satan is like the cell phone. God's got us all connected in his plan, his perfect plan. But Satan's in there with those other frequencies, and he's destroying God's children. And unfortunately, our churches are not listening to what we're trying to tell them. And literally, I think most of the people, like the days of Noah, most of those people, and there was hundreds of thousands of people alive back in those days, they're not going to be saved, John. There's some riding the fence that maybe we can talk to, but I'm worried about our group. I'm worried about Christians who have been too scared of talking about near-death experiences, too scared to talk about UFOs, too scared to talk about an Antichrist. We are here. I mean, I've been watching this since I was a little girl. I have always known that I would see this. And I gives me chills. I got my hair on my arms just standing up. I know that what I'm telling you is the truth because I don't want to fool myself. It's like writing my books. The research I did was to answer these questions for me, but I'm willing to share it with the world because if you don't prepare your family, your friends, your loved ones, if you don't sit down at the table and talk to them and say, look, if you get ready for a bad situation, if an earthquake, you got all your little stuff in, if you get separated, this is what we're going to do. If you do this, da da da, you got it all written down. But nobody's doing that for what's coming. They're relying on the preachers to tell them, and they're not telling them. They're relying on evangelists to tell them. They're not telling them because they're preaching. Everybody loves everybody. Everybody's going to go to heaven. Da, da. They're not talking about the real issues of how we are losing our capability to fight against something that literally Scripture tells us is coming.